Welcome back. I am Cris the girl, and today we took a long road trip over to the east coast of Florida to explore one of my old hometowns, Melbourne. Used to live in Melbourne for a little bit in a couple of different times in my life actually. And this is going to be a part of an ongoing series that I have been doing where I show you all the places that I used to live, some of my old stomping grounds, where I went to school and all kinds of different stuff. So I'm really excited about this one because I have very, very fond memories of my time in Melbourne. It's actually one of my favorite towns in Florida. There's a lot to do here, lots of really cute stuff. It's very, very close to the beach, which is right in front of us right here. And just, I don't know, have a lot of really good memories here. So I'm very excited to share some of these places here with you all today. I've got some funny stories for you, and I hope that you all find it interesting. I appreciate you clicking on this video. I appreciate you wanting to know more about me. If you clicked on this video and you're going to watch it, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy it, this trip down memory lane, getting into some nostalgia here. It's one of my favorite things to do, and of course to share my history with you all as well. So anyway, we got a lot of ground to cover today. Wanted to start it off here at the beach because, hey, we're here. It's the beach. I don't want to see the water, and it's actually really, really pretty out right now. I think it's supposed to rain later, but anyway. Thank you all for clicking on the video. I sure hope that you enjoy it, and let's go. One more view of the ocean before we take our leave here. I don't have too much to say necessarily about the beaches over in Melbourne. I only kind of just discovered them when I was a little bit older and wasn't living on the East Coast anymore. It's a heck of a lot more chill over here. Like if you're on the East Coast and you're looking for some good beaches to go to, I would absolutely recommend Melbourne. Cocoa Beach is kind of crazy. Alrighty, just parked in the first location, and before I pop out here and show you where we are and why we're here, I just kind of wanted to reiterate really quick here. As I said in the introduction, I've been in and out of Melbourne kind of all throughout my life, sort of, and so it's not a clean timeline. I'm going to explain as we go to each location why it's important and the timeline in my life when it's important, because it's going to make sense as we go along. I promise. I'm having a heck of a time trying to explain it, but the timeline is all over the place. That's all I'm trying to say. It's all over the place, from when I was in elementary school all the way up to an adult just a number of years ago. So we're going to be all over the place today. As I said, got a lot of history here in Melbourne. So anyway, just wanted to set that up here. We're all over the place, which is, very on brand for the channel anyway. So, okay, let me show you where we are. Okay, so currently we are in the downtown kind of historical part of Melbourne. Honestly, haven't really spent the most amount of time in this area, exploring and looking around and looking at all of the cute shops and such. They have a lot of cute shops, a lot of cute restaurants as well, cafes and stuff like that. But the reason we are here is because the amount of time that I spent in this area was not going to those places, but going right here behind my car. Move over, car. Here we go. This is where I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of my time. So for those of you who do not know, I used to be a percussionist. I played percussion when I was in middle school and in high school and also in college. I took it very, very seriously. I took it so seriously that I took lessons when I was in school, specifically middle school and high school. And when I did, this is where I went for my lessons. I went here every single week, and I studied with a gentleman called Bobby Blum. We call him Mr. Blum, and he was just one of the most talented and kind as well, just one of the best teachers ever. Shout out to you, Mr. Blum. And yeah, this is where his studio was, right in this little section here. I always remember walking up here, and then you would just hear the sounds of people playing percussion, whether it was the marimba or the bells or timpani or the snare drum set. I believe it was right in this building here. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days. He had, I think, this section and then this section. Now it looks like it's art displays back in here, which is pretty darn cool and very on par. Lots of, like I said, cute little shops and art galleries and things like that. There's actually a plant shop right next door that I'm going to pop my head into since I'm here. But yeah, this was it. Like I said, spent many hours here. Came here once a week, took my studies very seriously, loved Mr. Blum. He was just an amazing percussion teacher, and sure do hope that he's doing well out there. Mr. Blum was one of those, he was one of those teachers where you didn't want to disappoint him. He never yelled at you if you didn't practice or did something wrong or whatever. Definitely not for that. But if you didn't practice, if you obviously didn't practice that week, he never yelled at you or was mad at you or anything like that. He was just disappointed. He was one of those teachers, and you never wanted to disappoint Mr. Blum. That was the worst. So many good memories here. Both my brother and myself, by the way, I should mention, we both took percussion lessons from Mr. Blum in the studio right behind me here. And yeah, so we would always have our lessons right next to each other. So he would go first and do his lesson for an hour, and I would sit there, or I would go in the back and practice a bit, and it just worked out really, really well. And it was a lot of fun, really good memories. So it's good to see it again. Holy moly, y'all, this was a day to decide to do this. It is just pouring out right now. Thundering, lightning. The plant shop saved me though, because I spent maybe 30 minutes in there or so. That was an awesome plant shop. Oh my gosh, we will be back for sure. So it's an interactive plant shop, which basically means you get to pick out your plant, pick out your planter, and put it all together right there inside of the store. They had stations all throughout the store. Each station had soil and little scoops and decorative rocks and stuff that you could put on top of it. And guess what? I have an example for you, because your girl had to build one. Look how cute it is. It's so adorable. Oh my gosh. So I got a Swiss cheese plant, Monstera adansonii, and then the planter is one of those little cow creamer things. Well, it looks like one, but it is actually a planter. It's got a drainage hole on the bottom and everything. And they had all kinds of really cool looking planters in there. I snapped a couple of photos for you so you could see, but we will be back. I would love to make a video there and show you everything. That was so cool. What a fantastic idea. I had a blast, and actually as I was in there, there was a group that was in there. It looked like a work group, and they were all getting ready to build their plants, so fun. I'm so glad that worked out. And actually the rain is letting up right now. So let's get driving to the next location. We can still salvage this trip. We drove all the way out here. We have to do this today. We have to. Look at that. They got a foxtail coffee out here. Good for them. Oh, I also saw a Del Taco. They got a Del Taco out here too. So lots of new stuff popping up, which is always good to see. All right, we've made it to our next destination. Thankfully, the rain is letting up a bit. Here we go. Dr. W. J. Cheryle Elementary School. So this is my elementary school when I was in the 5th grade and then half of the 6th grade. So I wasn't here for terribly, terribly long. But have a lot of really good memories here, just in terms of like important things happened to me at this school. Namely, the fact that I found music. When I was in the 5th grade is when I really started my music journey, and I started playing violin for the first time here at this school. So just a little bit of background here. Why did I only go here for a year and a half? So I grew up most of my childhood was in Kissimmee, Florida, which, trust me, that is a whole series of videos just on Kissimmee alone. They're coming, I promise. Anyway, that is where I lived with my mom and my brother. And then my mom met my now stepdad, Bob, and they met. He was living here in Melbourne, which I'm going to show you that house later on in the video. But when they met and decided to get married and spend the rest of their lives together, we moved from Kissimmee to Melbourne to live with my stepdad. So we were with him inside of that house for about a year and a half. And then that's when I went here to elementary school. And then after that, we moved to our house in Cocoa, Florida, which I did a whole video on that. So if you want to see that, it is out there. I'll put a link down in the description below. So when I lived in Melbourne for the first time when I was a kid, I was about 10, 11, 12-ish, somewhere in that time range. So elementary school in front of me here, it's good to see it. Like I said, this is when I discovered music, like really discovered music for the first time. And in music class, they had us listen to classical music, and I'll never forget that because it completely changed my life. I was like, wow, this music it's amazing. You know, we listened to like all of the classics. And we actually went to a symphony performance too at a place that I'm going to show you also in this video. And that it blew my mind. Like I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Music like means something to me. And at the time, orchestra was one of the things that they were offering, and I wanted to try playing the violin, so I did, and I really fell in love with it. And that happened here at this school. So I attribute that really important core memory, core time in my life to this school here and my time here in Melbourne, which is really, really neat. You know, elementary school in general was a huge struggle for me. Being a just very, very introverted child. A lot of people thought that I was shy, or whatever it may be. It wasn't necessarily that I was shy. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't want to talk to people. And that made making friends exceedingly hard. So unfortunately, you know, all schools are always going to remind me of that time, of like how hard it was to make friends, and just like who do you sit with at lunch, and who do you play with at recess, and all of you know, who do you team up with when you do projects, and like all of that crap. So I have those memories too, but for the most part, I really just think about my time in music, and so they're good memories. Good memories here. So I'm going to show you the house next. That will be the next spot on our tour. It's going to be very much a drive-by sort of thing, because I don't want to be that creepy person with a big old camera showing a house. 1940 Player Circle North. Here we go, is this blue house right here. And it hasn't changed too terribly much. The window all the way to the left-hand side, that was my brother's room, and my room was directly on the opposite side of that. We'll do another drive-by here. A lot of good memories at that home. Like I said, only there for a year and a half, and that was my stepdad's house before he met my mom and, you know, my brother and I, and so we moved in there with him after we lived in Kissimmee. I always liked it here, had a good time. Like I said, it was only a year and a half, so not like the most memories, but it was a cozy house, and we had a lot of fun in there, and I loved my room, and it was a great time. Again, just a lot of really, really good memories. And just one more look-see here before we drive away. Good to see it. Hi, house. We'll be back at some point. I gotta show Tampa Jay. The Savannahs at James Landing Apartment Homes is our next location. Jumping way ahead in the timeline here. So these lovely apartment homes here is where my parents lived after the house that we had in Cocoa. So when my parents decided to live full-time in an RV, they sold pretty much all of their stuff and moved out of the home, you know, sold the home, all of that good stuff. And then they lived in this apartment complex for about a year or so until they got the RV that they are in now. So this was more when I was actually an adult. This was literally like just a few years ago. This wasn't that terribly long ago. So I have very vivid memories of being here, and it was lovely. We thoroughly enjoyed our time here. I know my parents did. They obviously lived here more than I did. But it's a really nice apartment complex, or at least it was back in the day. Look, this was a few years ago. But it's very beautiful, very peaceful, a nice spot in Melbourne, and it was so special and important to me because I got to spend more time with my parents as an adult. And you know, we went to Disney together because we had annual passes, and you know, we ate dinner together, and you know, just all of that normal stuff that people do. And it was so nice to be with them again and to spend so much time with them here in this apartment in Melbourne. And this was specifically where they lived, in this building here on the bottom floor. And the patio outside there, right there, that was theirs. And then this one right on the bottom floor. Looks like they've added a bunch of really nice plants and wind chimes out front, which is really cool. So good to be back. Again, it's just nothing but good memories here. Nothing but good memories. Also, just beyond the buildings here, there's a lake in the middle as well. So some of the buildings got a nice lake view, and there's a lot of sidewalks around here. We would walk our family dog at the time, Taffy, who was very, very old and also blind, so she rolled around in a stroller. But we would walk all around here with her and just spend time together. Like, I will always cherish those memories. Very, again, can't say enough good things. This was also a very weird time in my life because I was basically in between a permanent spot, a permanent place, like a permanent home. So this was after I lived in Oregon. Yes, I lived in Oregon as well, and that's a whole nother story. But after I moved out from Oregon, moved back over to the East Coast to be with my parents and help them with the RV process and all of, and just to spend time with them. So that's what this was. I was going between here in Florida with my parents to the Virginia area, and I was going back and forth for a little while there. So it was a weird time in my life for sure. Not a lot of stability, a lot of traveling, a lot of just back and forth stuff, but nonetheless, good times. And just down the street, all of these locations are very, very close to each other, by the way, but just down the street here, going to the next location. All right, here we are, Wickham.
Turn left to stay on Wickham Park Road, then slide right onto Western Way.
Wickham Park Road. Thanks a lot, GPS. Okay, here we are, Wickham Park. I guarantee if you are from this area, you know exactly where I am and what this is. It is a huge dang park, folks. Absolutely massive. And it has like everything that you can possibly think of, from a campground to horseshoes directly behind me, equestrian trails, dog parks, soccer fields, plenty of gazebos, places to do cookouts, volleyball, like absolutely everything that you can think of. And back in my day when lakes were a thing that you could swim in, you could swim in this lake right in front of me here. I actually remember doing that at one point, and I remember turtles swimming past me. That was very, very short-lived because now pollution and those brain-eating amoebas, no good. But anyway, a lot of memories in Wickham Park for various reasons. I'm going to stand underneath this awning here. Apologies about the rain, folks. Couldn't have picked a better time to do this today. But anyway, a lot of memories here, like I said, both as a child and as an adult. That apartment complex literally right across the street from here. So I would often, after work, walk across the street and take a walk and get my exercise in. My parents, when they first got their RV, stayed in the campground here at Wickham Park just to get a feel for it, and they still had their full-time jobs too, so they were still going to work and living in their new RV. And then as a child, came here a lot actually with my dad. He would come over and then we would come to Wickham Park and we would like play volleyball or, kick around the soccer ball. He'd make hot dogs on the grill over there, like literally like in these gazebos behind me here. We would just hang out. And Wickham Park is a great park. It's honestly one of the best ones that I have ever seen, seriously, because it's just so big and it has absolutely everything. Like I said, every outdoor activity. Oh, disc golf. I've played disc golf here before too. There's playgrounds. It's just endless amounts of stuff that you can do here at Wickham Park. So very good memories here. Had a lot of fun here, exploring all of the different stuff that they have. And it's good to be back. This is a gem. This is a true gem here in Brevard County. We'll just do a quick little loop here around the park so you can see. There's the horseshoes, and there are the volleyball nets, some of them at least. Also, this sign says Gopher Tortoise Crossing, and boy, oh boy, is that true. I've seen probably the most gopher tortoisei that I've ever seen in my life right here in Wickham Park. We're also passing an archery range. Forgot they had that. And the circle that we're doing here is really just like, it's not even scratching the surface of how absolutely massive this place is. Got some playgrounds off in the distance there. Those have definitely changed over the years. Oh, we're going off-roading. Yep, this was a mistake. Definitely going off-roading. Anyway, there's some of the disc golf stuff out in the distance there. Additionally, the Brevard County Renaissance Fair is also going on right now. Look at all of the tents. Well, it's not going on right this minute. It is only during the weekends, I think. This is one that I've never been to, actually, and would really like to go to. It looks huge. Next stop, the Maxwell C. King Center, home of the performing arts. Also, Eastern Florida State College, formerly known as the Brevard Community College, BCC. Spent quite a lot of time here. At the King Center. And yeah, not gonna be getting out of my car because it's raining pretty hard, but here we are. So this is not only a community college, but also a huge auditorium where they have a bunch of concerts. And I remember seeing the Moody Blues here once before. I saw a Beatles cover band that was superb in here before, and I'm sure a bunch of other things I can't remember. But specifically, this is where I saw my first classical music concert, and a lot of symphony concerts inside of here too. So remember that story that I was telling you when we were at my elementary school, when I saw a classical music concert for the first time and absolutely fell in love with it, and I knew that music had to be a part of my life. That was here at the King Center. That was a field trip that we took here. So that's a very significant moment in and of itself. But also, fast forward a number of years later, when I would join the Brevard Youth Symphony Orchestra. I don't remember how old I was. I think I was in high school or middle school was when I was in the Brevard Youth Symphony Orchestra. And that was a very surreal moment to be able to be a part of that, and then to then go out on that stage and actually play classical music with my violin was really cool. It was kind of a full circle moment for me, and that was really awesome. So that was a thing. And then also another thing with the BCC, the community college aspect of it, is I remember one summer I took this is one of those things where, like, you look back as an adult and you're like, was that a thing? How was that a thing? Like, what was that? I don't understand what that was. But they had like summer classes basically for kids, and you could go and you can sign up for classes, and they had a bunch of different stuff. The classes that I took were beading like jewelry, beads, learning how to make jewelry with beads. And I took a Spanish class, I took an etiquette class, and I want to say something else, but I don't remember. And I did that for a summer, and it was pretty cool. I had a good time with it. So yeah, lots of fond memories here at the King Center, I guess, weirdly enough. But I'm glad that I could share that with you. Just one of those random things. And again, all of the stuff that I have shown you so far, save like the beach and then where I took my percussion lessons, all within like a 5-minute radius, basically. So we haven't actually gone that far. They're all very, very, very close together. So, but I think this is actually it for the Melbourne area. Now we're going to travel a little bit farther north, I believe, to one more spot. I have a couple of things I'm going to show you in that one spot, and then I think we're done. Short drive down 95 later, and we are in Viera. Just wanted to point out, right there is a Super Target, and I have been to that Super Target many, many times before. But one time I accidentally left my keys in the car, and I had to call AAA. Wasn't the first time, and it sure wasn't the last. Alrighty, folks, welcome to the Avenue in Viera. Another location I have, yes, spent a lot of time in. It's an outdoor mall area, and they have just about every single store one could possibly think of. I have a couple of stories to share. I went across the street because they have a Grimaldi candy company here. This is a family-owned company that used to only be off of US 1, and my parents loved going there because they have one of the best candies of all time. So I was super psyched that they had one here because this saves me a trip. I was gonna go all the way out there to grab it. It's more near Cocoa, a little bit more north of here. So it worked out beautifully. Let me show you what I got. So their favorite thing from there are chocolate covered potato chips, and thankfully they still have them. So I got a few things. So I got white chocolate covered potato chips. I'm not sure if they've ever had these before, but I grabbed them anyway. I also got dark chocolate covered potato chips, and then normal milk chocolate covered potato chips. This is what we got all the time, and let me tell you, it is delicious. It may sound kind of gross, but trust me, it's so incredibly good. So if you're in this area, highly recommend you got to grab these, and I'm so excited. Okay, this is the real reason why we're here, folks. It's the melting pot. So I used to work here for a hot minute. I used to work here. This was well over a decade ago. It was right after I quit working at Disney, and I was looking for any sort of job that I could do. And yeah, I parked here in the avenues, and I just kind of walked around and was like, okay, what store can I apply to? What restaurant can I apply to? I kind of wanted to do something different, and just sort of walked into the melting pot and was like, hey, y'all hiring? And they were like, well, not really. Well, sort of, but I don't know. We'll go do an interview really quick. So I did an interview and I passed. And then I came back and I did another interview and I passed. Now, keep in mind, I had never done any sort of food service thing at all. Like, no prior food service job, and I got the job. And then I went into training, and essentially the main boss guy on one of the last days was literally like, how did you get this job? Like, literally to my face was like, how is this even possible? And anyway, I passed all of the tests and the training and all of that good stuff with 100%, I might add. We had to take an actual, like, multiple choice, fill in the blank test sort of thing involving food and their menu and all of that stuff. And let me tell you, the melting pot is not an easy place to work at. That is for dang sure. Because you're literally making food right at the table, making the fondue and the stuff right at the table. So we had to learn a lot of stuff. It was complicated. And basically, I didn't make it through training. I was just like, you know what? I don't think I like this. This is hard. And I'm not having a lot of fun, and no one was really nice. It just wasn't my thing. So I ended up not going back to the melting pot. But this is it. And I always think of that, of course, every time I see a melting pot. Was almost worked there. And yeah, so that's my melting pot story. Kind of a weird one, but there you go. Also, fun fact, one of the days that I had training, I, you guessed it, left my keys inside of my car and so I realized that afterwards, and I was like, oh crap. So once again, called my good old pals over at AAA and hung out at the Books A Million, which is right over there, for a little bit too, until AAA came. So I used to leave my keys in the car literally all the time. Not so much anymore. I always like quadruple check to make sure I have them. Knock on wood. Yeah, still got them. The amount of anxiety I feel just looking at this melting pot. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Not the best memories, but it was different. Makes for a somewhat interesting story. This was the hopefulness that I felt in the beginning with it, and now it's more like the anxiety that this squirrel is probably feeling with this camera in its face. I knew then and there that food service was never going to be a thing that I was ever going to do again. It's not my jam. I understand how it can be other people's jam, but it was not mine. I didn't like smelling like food afterwards. Everything is so fast-paced and like everybody's yelling, and it was not my thing. But I also went from like 0 to 60 in terms of food service because I truly think that the melting pot is probably one of the hardest like waitress jobs out there, food service jobs out there, like truly. So not like the smartest thing I've ever done in my life, but like I said, it makes for a somewhat interesting story. And yeah, that's why I've never been to a melting pot ever again. But anyway, I've spent a lot of time here at the Avenue, going to all of the different stores here. There's a World Market on the opposite end here. That's the first World Market that I ever went to and fell in love with, of course. Behind me is the AMC Theaters. Seen many, many movies back there. As I said, I've killed time in that Books A Million before. And there's a pizza restaurant called the Pizza Gallery right over there. That's excellent. If you're in the area, you want some pizza, would highly recommend. And yeah, just a lot of memories here, a lot of time spent here as a kid, as a teenager mostly. And they're all very, very good memories. Except maybe the melting pot. That not so much. Also, I'm not 100% certain, but this may be the very first Panera that I've ever eaten at. I can't remember if it's this one or if it's the one over in Winter Park when I was in college. It was definitely somewhere around that time. But this may actually be the first Panera. I'm also gonna go get a salad because I'm really hungry. All right, orders secured. I got a Fuji apple salad without the chicken. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this baby up and then eat my salad, and then head on home. So once again, I hope that you all enjoyed this video and this kind of blast from the past from me. This was they're all really special ones. Let's be honest. I'm going to say that with every single one of these episodes. But this was really special for me. It's nice to have so many good memories here in Melbourne and to be able to share that with you all, of course. Lots of eclectic memories and all throughout my life as well, which is pretty interesting. There's not too many places out there where I can say this has run the course throughout a decent amount of my life. And I think part of the reason of that, too, is because Melbourne, in my opinion, is just a really nice place here in Florida. When I think of Florida initially, one of my first things, like when I'm envisioning what it looks like, is here in Melbourne. And I'm not 100% sure why that is, but I guess maybe because it has some of my most favorite things about Florida in general, and they're weird things like wide streets, huge parking spaces, lots of palm trees, sidewalks and places to walk, and it's just really, really nice, and aesthetically it's pleasing, and it's a very calm, peaceful, sort of chill vibe here. At least that's what I've always got from it. Now, it's Florida, so it's not like the most calm ever. I don't think that exists here in Florida, quite frankly. But in general, it just feels more laid back here in Melbourne, and I've always really, really liked that. This is never going to happen. But if I ever lived on the East Coast again, I would definitely be looking at somewhere here in the Melbourne area. I just enjoy it so much, and I can't wait to take Tampa Jay back here someday, because he's never seen any of these spots. So we're going to have to do that at some point. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't included that we'll be doing again in the future. A lot of stuff that I found today that I'll definitely be making a video on too, so that's really cool. And yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed my time here. What can I say? So I hope that you all enjoyed the video. If you're interested in more of the locations that I used to live, there is a playlist out there. It's called The Life of Cris the Girl, and it has these videos in there as well as some other things. So if you want to watch that, they are out there. I've done a few already, and your girl has lived in a lot of places, folks. I've lived in a lot of places, and not just here in Florida, too. So this is an ongoing series. It's something that I'm gonna be working on for quite a while now. So I hope that you like it. I really, really hope that you do. I know I enjoy doing it. It's a very cathartic experience for me. It's there's something about going back to these places when you're an adult and reminiscing on those memories and getting that feeling again. Like, just being here at the Avenue, like, gives me that feeling of being a high schooler again. Like, that, I feel that, and it's so weird to me. But really special, too. So I'm just really happy to share this with you, but, you know, a big chunk of why I do these videos is truly for myself. It's a digital scrapbook, and it's such a privilege and such a blessing to be able to come back here again as an adult and just see these things and how they changed, how they haven't changed, and you know, for a lot of it, just kind of reliving that and going through that, and it's just very cathartic. That's the best word that I can really say. So even if you don't enjoy it, or if you didn't want to watch the video, granted you wouldn't have made it this far, but that's okay, because I do these videos honestly mostly for myself anyway. So, and my family, because my parents and whatnot get to see it too. So anyway, enough said. We've babbled on a lot today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Got a ton of adventures coming up here really soon, and I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye, everybody.